So, welcome to Granulogia and thank you for agreeing for Praveg Podcast. So, you've been to this property earlier?
Yes, I've been here for a trade meet.
Okay. So, this basically 50% is dedicated to totally events and corporate events and social gatherings, weddings, and rest 50%, 3 floors, we've got rooms. So, you might have seen that. We'll revisit it once again. So, this is Piquant level 10 and 10,000 plus square feet. It's like a luxury space wise, everywhere it is luxury. So only 100 people are spread across the 10,000 square feet. So basically, the entire hotel, we are pure vegetarian and no smoking. So we have Anil sir with us, Anil Mulchandani. In one word, if I describe him, he can be personified as an encyclopedia by himself. He's written on travel, art, architecture, heritage, whatnot. Traveling 30 years back, it was not a very sort of profession. And how come this revelation came to you?
So in 1992, I used to write as a hobby, and when my article on Kutch actually got published
Okay.
in Signature magazine of Business India, and nobody had heard about the run of Kutch at that time.
My God,
So,
that time.
1992. So there was a lot of interest at how do you find these places, and then publications started asking me to write. Then I decided to make it my profession. So that is how I started writing, and it was a very new field in India to be writing on
Exactly, yeah.
travel or lifestyle or interiors or food, because 92 the reforms had happened. Before that, people were not really into anything like luxury or art. So then the people had just started taking an interest in these kind of subjects. The automobiles were coming in, so people had started traveling.
Yeah, that's the time when
People started-
Fiat and Ambassador Monopoly.
Yeah, so then people started having vehicles they could travel in. So it was a very new.
Even if you might have traveled so many places, what I see, if we put world on a compact canvas, there are a lot of parallels. What even after traveling, I could see, delve into the reality is that one side there's a Sahasrabahu temple, and one side there's a Sun Temple Modhera. There's a lot of there are a lot of common features in it. If we talk about food, pita bread, and if we talk about Kashmiri Khamiri roti, so it has got a lot of similarities. So, like you've written on art, architecture, heritage, food, wildlife. So, how can we define world or Homo sapiens who have got there's a common
Everything
thread
has
which
traveled. If
yeah.
you go into history, everything has traveled. People have traveled from place to place. People have traveled in search of food. People have traveled in search of wealth. People have traveled in search of empire. Have traveled in search of refuge. They've traveled in search of trade. And as they have traveled, they have the art has also moved from place to place. Ingredients have moved from place to place. Culture has moved.
So while
religion
their
has-
migration, you mean, so even art has traveled, food has traveled, everything.
everything. So any kind of chauvinism of trying to say this country is good or that is this culture is good, there is no such thing. Everything is connected. So all knowledge is interconnected. All food has traveled, all culture has traveled, and what you finally get right now is, so even if you look at, say, the miniature paintings of Kangra or Rajasthan, and
Correct.
to go back, the traditions go back to Persia or Central Asia, where this art started and came here. So everything from the samosa to the idli from Indo-China. People in India learned how to ferment rice and make rice ball, and then that got modified into the idli. The samosa also, people Central Asia, Iran, so they came to India through trade. It came when the Parsis migrated for refuge to South Gujarat. They brought certain foods with them that got introduced here. So everything has traveled, everything is connected, and we cannot separate things out. Like you can't think of food without business, and you cannot think of food without travel, and you can't think of travel without culture. So finally, the more you know, the better it is.
Then you can see things from a broader perspective that we are there on one canvas.
No, there was always
excites
people
me.
were always traveling. So if you see, even in Indian history, Samudragupta had conquered areas right up to Cambodia.
Correct.
Trade was there even in the times of the Indus Valley civilization 5,000 years ago, 4,500 years ago. If you see the sites of Dholavira or Lothal or Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, you will find artifacts that have come from Middle East or somewhere, because the ship trade, the boat was. Which destinations operational?
We are soon going to be there in Dholavira. Belvedere is operational now. Diu, we have taken over Jalandhar also, the circuit house. So Diu, we are there at 4 places. Daman, Silvassa, WRR, White Run of Kutch. So Belvedere and Diu will be like one circuit. If somebody wants to travel, because planning again and again it becomes difficult, and
80 kilometers ही है.
And from Dholavira to Kutch, that is a very good circuit. So that can be covered at one go. Ahmedabad, of course, we have our presence. Lakshadweep, 3 properties, they are under construction, and blue flag beaches, of course. Then we have Ayodhya, we have Varanasi. Rajasthan also, we are coming up with Jawai. So basically 750 plus rooms and 14 destinations currently.
So as people traveled in search of wealth, as people traveled in search of empire, globalization began, and globalization became accelerated. So our tagline also goes, Praveg acceleration. So Ayodhya to Sri Lanka, you've covered. Complete route we had written about. तो उसमें जैसे अयोध्या से जैसे चित्रकूट है, तो चित्रकूट में वो रुके थे, तो चित्रकूट से फिर मध्य प्रदेश होते हुए फिर महाराष्ट्र, डांग में भी प्लेसेस है जो शबरी धाम है. हाँ जी, बेर शबरी का. उसके बाद पंचवटी जो नासिक में, फिर हम्पी में जहाँ हनुमान और सुग्रीव से मिलना हुआ. कैसे आपने बाय रोड सारा कवर किया? हाँ. How long did you take to? 10 days, 10-12 days up to Tamil Nadu. Back to back. Up to Tamil Nadu, you covered where the bridge begins. हाँ. And Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka तो अलग से फिर होगा. So that whole thing. तो इसी तरह बहुत से routes है. अगर आप जैसे even rivers है, if you follow the Narmada or you follow the Tapti, तो बहुत कुछ रिवर के साइड पर या सी कोस्ट के साइड पर बहुत कुछ डेवलप होता है, बिकॉज वाटर इज वेयर सिविलाइजेशन. जैसे अहमदाबाद भी साबरमती पर डेवलप हुआ है. तो कैलकाटा भी डेवलप हुआ है तो हुगली पर हुआ है, दिल्ली
Correct.
डेवलप हुआ है तो यमुना पर हुआ है,
Correct.
आगरा है तो यमुना.
So all the river plains, Gangetic plains, and other.
Rivers, wherever there is a river, there is something interesting. Where there is a sea,
Fertile land and crops and
that is
everything
what
grows around.
always nurtures civilization.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what means to keep exploring and having your creative juices keep flowing. It's another challenge because at times the content can get monotonous also. So today the feast was pure vegetarian. How do you think this concept works?
What?
Pure vegetarian.
For locals it will work. But from outside, then they will prefer to go out and eat.
Okay. So now let's head to the top of the city. So that's the pool. So the only place in Ahmedabad to have pool at this floor. We talk about travel. Travel is also not easy. You have to plan a lot of meticulous planning has to go into it. So traveling has its own good side to it, which people see. It has also got another challenging or a flip side. So what has been your experience? Any memorable incident which you remember ki it was challenging situation you were put in?
When you are traveling, you have to be ready for surprises.
Okay.
And you have to be ready to tweak your plans or anything and find something interesting. So like when travel to a place, like if I travel to Karnataka, suddenly the weather is not, no matter how much planning you have done, you can't predict the weather.
Correct. Weather conditions, especially.
The political situation at that time. So you have to be ready to plan, replan, or make the most of where you are. So that is very important. So when I was writing about Karnataka and the unexpectedly early rains,
Okay.
so then we tweaked our article and we made it on the monsoon beauty of Karnataka. So you have to change the story as you go along to be ready for, or you can go there and find out about something you did not know, so you suddenly want to change your plans. So you have to keep.
Any place where you got stuck, like Dangs, you've traveled to Dangs, you were saying. So Dangs is a tribal area. There are tribal areas. There's Andaman.
So anything can happen. Like when we were traveling in Laos Spiti. Laos Spiti is a geologically active area. So there are a lot of landslides, avalanches, rock falls.
It's geologically also active.
So when you are traveling there, sometimes suddenly the road is blocked. And you have to plan.
No, post Rohtang is also very sensitive. That's area to any which ways.
That's beginning. But Rohtang is just the beginning. Further up, it is even more sensitive. So you could suddenly, like it has happened with us, that suddenly a landslide has necessitated that we stay one night more somewhere.
Okay.
Or reach a place one day late. I think all that you have to be ready for.
Yeah, especially in these regions, I believe if you travel, you need to have 1 or 2 days buffer in hand.
Yeah. Because Konkan Railway, again, it's like this few tracks between two hills.
Yeah.
And very often it can happen in the monsoon that the trains get blocked and they reach late. So you have to keep. You'll be ready to change your plans or move ahead.
You need to have that.
Now you have mobiles. Earlier, it used to be difficult to communicate.
Even if you're stuck, you cannot communicate. So what has been the best? It was like, one challenging situation and the best of experience.
It's difficult to define.
Many of them,
Many.
rather. The list is endless.
Yes, yes.
But according to you, the most exotic location, if we talk about India, so the best place to be in, or where all you have been in, if you list as per your liking.
So I think each place will be according to what you like. So some place has stunning architecture, or some place has interesting archaeological site. This is scenically beautiful. There's a lot of wildlife. It is very difficult to
Identify one.
identify a particular place in that way.
But
It
Kerala,
largely
I
dep-
believe, has always been in your preference list.
So Kerala, there are 2-3 factors. One is there's a good level of literacy. So it is very easy to communicate with people there. The drivers, or even the medical facilities are pretty good. So Kerala is one place you are traveling in very beautiful areas, and at the same time the facilities in terms of medical facilities and in terms of having educated people.
Yeah.
So that definitely is a big. Karnataka is one of according to me, a very good place to travel because you have scenic beauty, you have architecture, you have a lot of wildlife, and you have also got a sea coast.
And again, the road connectivity is very
It's
good.
very good, infrastructure is very good, and urban and rural areas very close to each other. So you get,
Okay. Yes, yes.
so I think that is Karnataka is one of the states I have been to multiple times because
Okay.
there is a lot of
You get best
diversity,
of the
lot
both
of
worlds.
diversity. So you could be in Bangalore, in the middle of a metro, and then you could be in Mysore with all the heritage sites, and then next day you could be in a national park. So you could have a lot of variety in just 2-3 days. So that is very good thing, right from quiet rural areas or a quiet beach to having a place with a lot of cafes and things. Everything is possible.
Great, great. So basically, like tourism, if you say what attracts you is the connectivity, the people also need to be aware about
Aware about
what exactly a tourist requires. The amenities have to be there in place. So that's one important criteria apart from nature and infrastructure.
When I travel, like I'm talking about Tasmania. So Tasmania is an island, Australia, which is very stunningly beautiful, with
Okay.
lovely white sands and everything. And along with it, there is an art scene in Hobart, in main town, and there's an art hotel also. There's a flea market, a farmers market. So along with scenic beauty, there is also a mix of different modern amenities and events and culture. So I think the more diversity you have in a destination, the more you can.
So diversity
enjoy.
with diversity, you also understand the needs
Now-
of a global traveler, I believe, from what region a
Now
person
when
is.
we talk about slow travel, where people are talking about sustainability.
Yeah. Sustainable tourism basically is the new buzzword.
Yeah.
Ecotourism and sustainable tourism, like he said, is the new way of travel. So even the travelers have become sensitive. They need to be sensitive and sensible about the carbon footprint they are making.
And
Too
the
much of
local interaction. So otherwise, like a lot of places now, people don't like, they are getting fed up of tourists coming there, spoiling their.
spoiling the place. Spiritual tourism is now identified as a separate sector now. It has been always very prevalent in India, but it is being formalized now. So, as an author who looks at things from a magnifying glass, a different perspective, what do you see there is a change? and what is required?
See, earlier, if you look at the history of tourism, so normally religious tourism, I'll say, was the one of the oldest forms of tourism, because
Correct.
people before leisure tourism and all came, people would travel for two reasons. One was either on pilgrimage or to meet relatives. And sometimes they would be in abroad. There was also a concept of traveling for health, that the doctor would say, okay, this weather is not suiting you, go to a warmer place or whatever. Leisure tourism came up, then it became that religious tourism is for those people who are just going for a yatra, a pilgrimage, and coming back. And the leisure trip was a different trip. Now, as life has become quick, fast, and families are traveling together, it is like you combine your pilgrimage or your spiritual experience or your wellness experience or your yoga experience with a holiday. So now the traveler does not want to go and stay in a dormitory with his family, wants his privacy, wants a clean place. You're conscious about hygiene. Disposable income has gone up. People are getting good salaries in their job, or they've made money on stock market or mutual fund or real estate. So they are ready to spend. So earlier, only a few destinations had both. Like Puri was one destination where people could combine their religious thing with a holiday. So that has always been there. People have gone there, they stay 3-4 days, they spend time at the beach also, they stay in a good property, do their they do their religious darshan, and they see archaeological site of Konark, and then they also go in the market and buy handicraft textiles. So Puri was always a destination where uh, religious tourism combined with leisure tourism and special interest tourism. That is not the case with other destinations where people went purely to their mandatory rituals and
Combining
come back.
both, yeah.
Yeah. Now people are looking at these. So like if you look at Dwarka, now people are going along with the religious thing. They're also enjoying beaches. They're going for dolphin spotting. They're going for scuba diving. They're staying in good hotels or resorts. So slowly now that thing of even the traveler is becoming demanding. The traveler does not want to compromise anymore, and they are ready to spend on a good place. So that is why even at the religious place, they want it to be clean, they want it to be well kept, they want facilities. They don't just want to go there and compromise, or we are forced
Quality.
to go there. Yeah. So I think that genre of tourism, that subset of tourism of religious tourism. And now spiritual tourism is not just religious, it is about going for vipassana, or it is for meditation, or going for wellness or yoga, or so the whole concept of religious spiritual tourism as a holiday, as a family holiday, is now on the rise. And the facilities are coming up keeping that in mind.
And it's being formalized, like you're saying, Vipassana. So they are specialists. These
Yeah.
are certain forgotten arts and the knowledge. So
that
it's being
is become-
formalized properly.
So Puri was a very good model, I think, where where religious tourism came together with beach tourism, handicraft tourism, and even nature tourism at Chilika Lake. So leisure and uh, religious tourism came together. Now others are also going in the same direction.
Emerging. So Actually, even government has become more vigilant and more conscious in terms of developing these places. Ayodhya, like the latest entrant, Ayodhya, Varanasi, Gaya has. This is a very good circuit if we talk about that. So, have you been to Ayodhya?
I've been before, long before
Okay, the recent.
the Ram Mandir.
Acha.
So primarily what is happening, like if you look at the Buddhist trail, and the Buddhist religious sites always had good facility.
Foreigners.
Because a lot of Japanese and people from Southeast Asia were coming, or even Westerners were coming out of curiosity to know more about the religion. The Hindu sites did not have the same level of facility, but now slowly that is also upgrading gradually.
It's because the tourist has become more
tourist has become
demanding.
demanding.
There's a demand and again supply from the government side being more sensitive and
government then
sensible
takes it up
towards
accordingly.
making the right infrastructure and the right facilities on the way also. That's important. Good road connectivity. Like the entire Saryu place has been refurbished, refined and rebuilt. So coming back to Gujarat, from Diu to Kutch, which are your favorite places? And Gujarat, especially with its 1600-kilometer long coastline, what they boast of, it has developed a lot. Government had made promise 2 decades back almost, so you can see the results now. So what has your experience been like?
So basically, Gujarat has a lot to offer in terms of variety as well as a few important places. Mainly, I think in the heritage space, Gujarat is very strong because we have a lot of monuments, right from Hindu and Muslim and Parsi and Buddhist and Jain. So definitely we are strong on the heritage side. And then, of course, there are some very unique natural sites, like you talked about the Great Run of Kutch or the Little Run of Kutch, or we'll have the grasslands or the bunny grasslands of Kutch, or even if you talked about geological sites, some of the rock formations you see in Gujarat, or some of the dinosaur site in Balasinor. So all this is there now. The only thing is that still tourism is at a very young stage in Gujarat. So the facilities, the policies, rules, regulations at the destination, I think those still need to develop to match up to other states or, of course, other countries at the
Okay.
end. So that definitely needs to develop alongside. Out of a Gujarat destination, like Gir is one destination where now there are good accommodations, some facilities. But still, I think Gujarat needs to do a lot in terms of how to facilitate the travel. So I think here it is still a nascent industry. So I think it will develop slowly.
So Diu to Kutch, what is your favorite?
So if you look at from Diu to Kutch, Diu is a union territory. So again, a lot needs to be done. Like in Diu, has stunning Christian architecture,
Correct.
which needs to be promoted. Diu
Portuguese
and Daman.
Connect.
Kutch has a lot to offer, but then some areas have got over tourism and some areas are absolutely underdeveloped. So I think the planning of Gujarat destinations still needs to be done. But if I talk about the past, definitely the development has been there. So if I look at Dwarka, earlier there were no star hotels, but now you have star rated hotels in Dwarka. In Gir also you have boutique resorts, eco resorts. So Yeah, I think all this will develop over time. A lot of very majestic places. If you look at Junagadh, which has got great monuments, Champaner has got great
Champan
monuments.
area.
But I think all this still facilities in terms of availability of guides, signages, maps, guidebooks, accommodations, places to eat, places to buy crafts or souvenirs. Still, Gujarat has a lot to catch up with other states, some of the others.
So there is scope basically. There's a lot of scope, we can
There's a
say.
lot of scope for improvement in Gujarat in those terms because finally a person goes to a destination, they do want certain facilities, and if it is not there, they will not come back.
Correct. Absolutely. So facilities, it goes both with spiritual tourism, any kind of tourism we talk about. That's what the tourist is more demanding nowadays and more aware nowadays. So
And
you have to
there
make
is
the
a
ends
lot
meet.
of option now available. So when a tourist is traveling, uh, they will come once, but then for them to recommend to others or to come back or to extend their stay, still the information availability is still the facilities still need to develop.
So from spiritual, if I come to wildlife, is in India, it is still an underrated vertical.
So in India we have wildlife tourism is again a diverse. So one is those people who come to see big animals or magnificent animals like tiger, elephant, rhino, lion, leopard. So that is one form, and the other is the niche tourism where people come to look for some endangered fish or to look at or to make a checklist of birds that or for photography. So I think wildlife tourism is concerned, I think India is picking up. So uh, that is definitely there. Uh, some of the challenges that tourism faces in India is that the systems are very departmentalized. So the forest department, the tourism department, the archaeological department, they all work differently, and very often a single window clearance is not available.
That's a bigger challenge.
So that is why. But now if you see the wildlife resort, whether you look at even the lesser known non-sanctuary places like Jawai Dam, now a lot of very plush resorts are coming up.
Yeah, we have one coming up over
coming up
there.
also. So definitely wildlife tourism is on the rise, and even the earlier wildlife tourism was mainly foreigner, but now the domestic tourist is also becoming aware about nature and wildlife and conservation, and they also want to visit, they want to see animals, birds. So I think that is a segment that is catching on very quickly.
Picking up very fast. Your wife, Jyoti, she's been your companion traveler, a photographer. Now she started her own blog, Sindhi Khazana, to promote cultural food. So, what advice you can give to travelers or the emerging set of bloggers who are looking this as a career, and a lot of people have become? So, what's your set of advice?
So I think credibility, finally you have to build your credibility, that when anybody is reading your thing, they should know that what you're putting is genuine, not biased, not it is well researched, and by following whatever you are writing, a person can have a good holiday or a good meal or learn something new. So I think that the bloggers should invest time in upgrading their knowledge, upgrading their
Very
wisdom,
important.
upgrading their understanding of subjects. Otherwise, it's a new field. and so any blogger starts doing well. But as the competition will increase, and as I think then the differentiator of why you and not somebody else will become. So earlier, when the focus was on print media, the filtration was done by the editors. So you only
Right.
got published if you were either an expert or you were very good writer, very good descriptive writer, or very good journalist. Blogging to an extent has democratized in the sense that anybody can become can start putting their views. But with that democratization, also a lot of mediocre content is being seen.
Right.
A lot of misinformation also is being spread because there is no filtration or
Right.
system. And I think slowly that will need to correct itself, where people will start understanding that you don't follow a blogger or you don't follow an Instagrammer or you don't follow what somebody says uh, till you know that the person has some depth. So that thing was there. So
Credibility.
it's like earlier they were the Food and Drug Authority which filters out what drugs can come in the market. Now that is what the publications were doing. Now there is no filter. So now the filter will depend on the audience.
Right.
Whereas the audience will become aware, they will start selecting whom they follow, whom they believe. So just building following in terms of numbers will not help. It will not translate to business for that other thing, because even if the numbers follow you of because of relations or because of some funny things you are doing or whatever, then finally the brand needs to know that how many of my products sold based on the thing you have put on the site, so on
Performance
your
based.
blog. So I think building credibility is very important. Knowing your niche, knowing your expertise areas.
And again, like you've been writing since 30 years. To have those creative juices get flowing, to diversify content, to amalgamate content, to find new ideas, it's not an easy task. You have to be really well informed and think
Well
beyond
informed,
a
you have
certain
to
level of.
be mentally agile to pick up some information or some topic. You have to change also depending on the demand. So I think the right now it is a very immature stage of this line of blogging. It will mature, the new challenges will emerge for the bloggers.
Consistency
Yeah,
matters.
that in the end.
And for consistency, like I said, for to sail through, you need a lot of content daily to keep updating and upgrading
Yeah.
yourself. Cool.
What can you offer that others cannot? That is going to be the crux in the future.
So you've been to Dholavira? This is, yeah. So this is what I was talking about, the A-shaped tents with a glass face. It's just 1.5 kilometer away from the World Heritage
Archaeological.
UNESCO, the archaeological site Dholavira. Blue flag beaches. The concepts after spiritual tourism, eco-tourism, eco-travel, sustainable, blue flag beaches. There are very few in India, and one of them is with us at Gogla Diu and Lakshadweep, the new emerging territory, which is attracting people from Maldives. So, have you been to any of these blue flag beaches?
So Shivrajpur is the blue flag beach near Dwarka. Gogla is the blue flag beach in Diu. So there are blue flag beaches all over. Basically, we talk about beach tourism. One of the main things is that it is a tourism that can easily go wrong because uh, in terms of the litter or in terms of how you spoil or even when the properties come up how they because those are always sensitive zones. So
Right.
talk about the beach tourism, definitely it's one of the most popular. Actually, beach and wildlife. These are two forms of tourism where people spend long holidays. Because if you go to an archaeological site or a religious site or even a hill, you will spend 2 days, 3 days. But people can spend weeks at a beach in Thailand or Goa or somewhere doing different activities or just
Or just
relaxing or
relaxing,
sunbathing or
sunbathing. Yeah.
trying different foods around. So beach tourism is in that sense a very desirable form of tourism where a long stay is possible. But beach tourism is recreational tourism and in that form of recreation where people are spending long time they need very good facilities they need because they're staying a long time they need their food that they are comfortable with they want drinks they are comfortable with so where Gujarat as a state is concerned beach tourism poses challenges like because of prohibition because of certain cultural factors and so facilities also need to be developed at lot of beautiful beaches in Gujarat. And not all beaches in Gujarat are geographically suitable for tourism.
Safe for
So
tourists,
even if
basically.
we have 1600 kilometers of coastline, we have maybe 8 or 10 beaches that are suitable for recreational beach tourism.
Tourist friendly beaches.
Which can be made tourist. Many of the others are either marshy or rocky or sea is turbulent. So then those have to be developed in that manner, keeping that in mind. So if it is a beach that is suitable like surfing is a popular sport all over the world.
Correct.
And so there may be beaches that are suitable for surfing. Again, that's a lifestyle sport. People wear specific gear, they buy gear. So it's a people with a high purchasing power that go to surfing spots. Marinas, so again, yachting, luxury yachting. Again, that is a form of coastal tourism. So, if the proper study needs to be done of what spots are suitable for recreational beach tourism, which ones for water sports, which ones are suitable for marinas, or which ones are suitable for surfing. Or there are places like Somnath and Dwarka where heritage meets the sea, the shore temples. We have Gujarat had sea forts, seaside forts. Gujarat had palaces by the beach like Mandvi
Mandvi.
and Porbandar and Chorwad, Veraval. There were palaces that were built on the beach. So all that needs to be brought together into to make a good product around the coast. That has not been done systematically.
Even
So
reefs, like coral reefs in Australia, they are really promoting coral reefs for tourism. We have a lot of coral reefs. We have got whale sharks visiting. There were certain drives which were going on to actually educate fishermen not to kill those whale
whale
sharks.
shark, not
So we do have, of course, a lot of diversity in terms of natural diversity is there, marine diversity, what we talk about. Cool. Thank
lot
you,
of
sir. Thank you so much for sparing your time. It was a long day.